This is Jeanice Cabale with Cabale Media, and in today's video, we are talking about why A/B testing is important. Stay tuned. Fellow email marketers, today we're going to do a deep dive into A/B testing. This will be one of the many videos that you'll see on why A/B testing is important. So, for those who don't know what A/B testing is and you are a beginner, A/B testing are variables that you test against in order to see what works and what doesn't work. So let's say subject line A is a variable and then subject line B is a variable. You test them against each other and then you test them against other variables. Then you take the average of the numbers and see what's performing best. So let's say subject line A gets more clicks or opens than subject line B. Then you would determine that the winner. And depending on your email service provider, they would take the winner of the test and then send that variable to the rest of your list. Let's say one of your subject lines says complimentary guide to email marketing, and the second one says download your complimentary guide now, time is running out. Let's say subject line B works. It will then take the remainder of the people in the list and then send it off to them. Generally, what it does is a 50-50 split. They take a certain amount of the people on your list, they test between those particular people. That's what subject line testing is for those who don't know, but if you do know, that's just a quick overview for people who don't. Why is A/B testing crucial for campaign success? If you don't have any variables and any relevant data, it's hard to know what's working and what's not working. Sending an email with the hopes that it's going to work in the long run really won't do your email marketing program any justice. You have to see the optimal times for sending, for opening, for clicking, for purchasing, and then get all those numbers together in order to have or to send an email. Then once you get all those variables together, you can find the optimal time, the optimal day. So let's say after testing, you get a result of there are more open rates at 10 a.m. on a Thursday, but there are more click-through rates on a Thursday at 2 p.m. Depending on what you want to test that day, you can either test the open rates, the click-through rates, and then when you're ready to send in emails and you're trying to test for either one of the variables, you can say, okay, this day click-through rates did better, this day open rates did better, this day one CTA did better, this day it was better that we sent it at 5 p.m. I'm just making these things up in my head, but these are real variables that I've used with myself and clients. Depending on your email service provider, generally they all have ways to A/B test. You may have to pay to have that A/B test capability, but it's pretty simple. You would just create one email, then duplicate it, and then change whatever variable it is in the second email. So whether that would be subject line, timing, wording, CTA, time of day, seasons a little too broad, but anything like that. Those are the most common ones. You know, what time people are subscribing, what time people are engaging most on your website. Maybe that's a great time to test. Let's say you want to do emoji testing. You can take that emoji and front load it, meaning put it in the front of the subject line, or leaving it completely out as your second test variable. Common pitfalls to avoid when you're setting up your email marketing testing. There can be so many things going on, but the one thing you have to keep in mind is testing one variable at a time. You can't test click-through rate the same day, open rate, because you'll never get a clear, concise winner as to what's working. It may be the click-through rate, it may be the open rate. You could be testing too early, running too many split tests at once. Always just use one variable the first time you test so your data is always accurate. Key metrics when it comes to your A/B testing for your emails. So the main ones are open rate, click-through rate. Those are the ones I generally use because you know when people are opening, what they're more likely to click on, and then what time they're generally, or what type of email they're more likely to purchase from. You generally see an uptick in sales when it's a sales email. Sales email meaning 15% off, 20% off, any type of discount. That's when they tend to buy more. Always keep that in mind that even though that's a great way to increase sales, that you can't always use that as the main variable as to why email is working when it comes to open rate and click-through rate, if that makes sense. Because once there's a sale and they see it in the subject line, they're more likely to buy. But let's say you don't even have the subject line of a sale, but when they open it is a sale, that's when you know for sure what variable is working, if it's truly the subject line or the sale itself. So how do you select the best metrics for A/B testing? Answer is pretty simple. You have to test what you're looking to improve. If you're looking to get better open rates, looking to get better click-through rates, looking to get more purchases, try testing with that one variable first for a couple of weeks, somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks to get good metrics, and then for sure you can see what's working and when it's not. You don't want to test something and then end it too prematurely. You're just not going to get good enough data. So give it some time, see what's working, and then change the variable. Best practices when it comes to creating an email: one CTA, right? Too many CTAs can confuse the consumer. Misleading subject lines you don't want to use. Don't mislead the customer into believing what they're about to open is about that subject line. Your subject line ultimately has to tell what's in the email. No misleading subject lines because it could lead you to the spam or junk folder. Real-life examples of successful email variables: click-through rates are always tried and true. Open rates are always tried and true. Purchases could get a little tricky again, right? Because if it's a sale, people are most likely to buy. Time of day is always a great one. Is it the morning or is it night? One thing I can honestly say is that Mondays and Fridays and the weekend generally don't tend to have the best engagement, just because Monday everybody's coming back into the office, Fridays everybody's checked out, and then Saturday and Sunday, even though people are on their phones, they're generally out doing things. That doesn't mean they're not going to buy, but they're just less likely to buy. Tuesdays and Thursdays seem to be better early in the morning, during the morning commute, or after lunch. Let's say somewhere between 12 and 1, you want to avoid sending emails. The earliest I would send it is 2. They've already had their lunch. They're a little bit more calmed down. Then you could send that email and then try to engage with the customer. How do you A/B test subject lines? I gave you a few ideas at the beginning. You would do things like maybe using emojis, changing the words around, adding numbers, adding bullet points, top this, top that, changing the preview text, putting maybe an emoji in the preview text, maybe putting an emoji in the subject line and making it maybe 1 or 2 words instead of a full sentence, maybe choosing different wordplay. There's tons of ways you can test your subject lines. You just have to do a lot of tests and see what works. You can go to something like subjectline.com. They have an amazing tester that you can use that at least gives you almost like a level of insurance, or kind of, I like to call it a checks and balances type of, it's like an assistant, right? Just like ChatGPT could be your assistant. It is just another way to give you that extra layer of protection that something else is looking at your subject line to see if it potentially can be not necessarily fixed, but maybe a little better and more effective to use to get a higher open rate. Tips and tricks for crafting an email subject line. Again, nothing misleading. You can always use emojis depending on the consumer. B2B generally doesn't use emojis, but B2C, go crazy, but not too crazy. Try 1, 2, maybe 3. Use exciting words. Use the Paso framework. I have a video on that, so use the Paso framework. I will drop that in. I may have made a video about it. Not 100% sure, but if anything, I'll drop the link in the description. Try to find ways to engage your customers by finding words that you know will trigger an emotion. Fun, free, exciting. Free, again, kind of tricky, but use words to really get them involved. So things to agitate them. You've never seen like this before. Let me do all the work for you. Top things you didn't know about this. And those will ultimately lead to an effective subject line. All right, another short video because this is video 1 of why A/B testing is important. If you need anything, you can email me at jcabale@cabalemedia.com, Cabale media.com. That's jcabale, J. Did I spell it the last time? JCABALE, cabalemedia.com, or just go to the site, cabalemedia.com. You can subscribe right here. You can leave comments down below what you want to see, what you don't want to see. You can like, share, and subscribe. I think I said put the button over here. And yeah, that's it. See you at the next video.